Ladies and gentlemen, the last time is now. After 2 whole decades of being the name most synonymous with the WWE, John Cena is hanging up his boots this year, and it has the entire internet buzzing. Who will Cena's final opponent be? Will we see Cena break Ric Flair's record and win his 17th world title? Or what about Cena winning the IC title, the one title that he's never won in his career? What dream matches will we get to see Cena compete in against stars from the new era? And which superstars from Cena's past will re-emerge during his final run? Well, this is Gresh from Wrestleology, and in today's video, we're going to answer all those questions and much more, because this is how WWE should book John Cena's farewell tour. Now, I'm not going to lie, this script was finished before the Royal Rumble. Now we know that Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, so things are a little bit different, but not too different. Okay, so I'm going to keep the Royal Rumble stuff in, but just keep in mind, I am aware you don't got to educate me in the comments that Jey Uso won the Rumble. I know, we're just a little late to the party. Okay, so Cena comes out on Raw's Netflix debut episode and announces his entry into the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble arrives and Cena's music hits at number 1, even though I know he didn't come in at number 1. But Cena survives the Rumble for over an hour, scoring eliminations over rivals from his past like The Miz, Carlito, as well as names from the new era like Karrion Kross, Johnny Gargano, and Grayson Waller. Dominik Mysterio enters the number at 27 and constantly keeps chirping at Cena with taunts like, "Your time is up, old man, time to pack up the bags, yada yada yada." Eventually, Super Cena mode is activated and Cena dumps Dirty Dom over the top rope, who proceeds to throw a tantrum at ringside. Cena then would make it to the Final Four along with Roman Reigns, Rollins, and CM Punk. When this happens, Rollins and Punk are both recovering at opposite sides of the ring, while Cena comes face to face with the head of the table, Roman Reigns. It's a clash between generations and the crowd is on its feet. Cena and Reigns trade punches in the center of the ring, but eventually Cena gets the upper hand with his signature shoulder tackle and sets Roman up for the "you can't see me" 5-knuckle shuffle. The crowd is on its feet and knows what's coming next. Cena runs the ropes like he's done 1,000 times in his career to set up the 5-knuckle shuffle, but just as he reaches the rope, Dominik Mysterio, who was hanging around ringside, pulls the rope down. Cena goes over the top rope and barely holds on, trying to grab anything he can to keep his hopes alive of main eventing WrestleMania one final time, but Dirty Dom hits him in the midsection with a steel chair. Cena's fingers slip, and just like that, Cena's hopes of one last WrestleMania main event come to an end. Dom proceeds to attack Cena with 2 vicious steel chair shots on the outside before eventually being escorted backstage by the referees as he mocks Cena, saying, "Guess you didn't see that coming, huh?" Cena slowly makes it back to his feet, looks at the Mania sign, puts his head down, and leaves the ringside area as the C Nation is heartbroken. Now that we're done with the alternate universe Royal Rumble, we move on to Cena coming out the next night on Raw, saying that the Royal Rumble didn't go as planned, but that doesn't mean this is the end for his road to WrestleMania. Raw GM Adam Pearce announces that later in the night, Cena will go one-on-one against the man who cost him the Royal Rumble, Dominik Mysterio. And of course, an Elimination Chamber qualifying match, giving Cena another chance to punch his ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. Cena, in typical Super Cena fashion, manages to put away Dom with the 5 moves of doom despite interference from the Judgment Day, and books his spot in the Chamber match to determine the #1 contender for Gunther. Once again, I know it's a little bit annoying because Jey is probably going over Gunther, but then again, this was my how to book video. Okay, so in this universe, I guess you can pretend that Cena did not just declare for the Chamber and earned his spot, and then I guess you can also maybe think that Jey is going after Cody or something like that. Either way, I'm gonna stop mentioning it now. Should I have gotten this video out like 2 weeks ago? Sure, but sorry, y'all. You know what I mean? It took a little bit of time. Anyway, Cena enters at number 1 once again in the Chamber and makes it all the way to the final 2 along with Drew McIntyre. Drew hits Cena with 2 claymores, but Super Cena still manages to kick out. McIntyre sets up for claymore number 3, but this time Cena ducks, hoists up McIntyre, and sets him up for the AA, but just as he turns towards the camera, a man in a hoodie hits Cena with a low blow, giving McIntyre the opportunity to nail Cena with another claymore and get the win. The man in the hoodie is revealed to be none other than Dirty Dom, who mocks Cena from the outside of the ring as the leader of the C Nation looks defeated. One once again staring at the WrestleMania sign. Now, a WrestleMania program between Cena and Dirty Dom might not sound like the most interesting thing in the world, but stay with me because this is going to be crucial later down the road. The next night on Raw, after the Chamber, Dominik comes out and claims how Cena is just like his deadbeat dad, a relic of the past clinging to the last bit of spotlight and taking the attention away from the superstars of the present like him. Dominik vows to put an abrupt end to Cena's farewell tour and humiliate him at the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania. The road to WrestleMania is a bumpy one for the leader of the C Nation, as he's constantly attacked by members of the Judgment Day. At Mania, in a clash of generations, Cena soaks in the atmosphere for his final WrestleMania, heads into the ring to handle business and discipline Dirty Dom after Rey Mysterio gives Cena the green light to beat his son's ass and teach him a lesson. Throughout the match, Dominik keeps playing the chicken shit heel to perfection, constantly escaping to the outside and using underhanded tactics to escape the wrath of Cena. Towards the final stretch of the match, Dom sends Cena face first into an exposed turnbuckle, hits him with a low blow, and rolls him up to actually defeat John Cena on the grandest stage of them all. Dominik then mocks Cena from the stage as he's booed out of the arena, while the leader of the C Nation sits defeated in a scene similar to WrestleMania 28 after his loss against The Rock. This Mania win over Cena solidifies Dom as the next major heel for the WWE, as he goes on to win the Money in the Bank briefcase later this year. But the Raw after Mania opens with a defeated Cena who grabs the mic, looks around the arena with heavy eyes, and says, "You know what, maybe Dominik is right. Maybe I don't have it in me anymore. Maybe it's time to end this retirement tour earlier than planned." The crowd of course responds with a thunderous no chant as Cena takes off his armband. But just as Cena's about to leave his armband in the middle of the ring, he's interrupted by someone who he's never come face to face with in a WWE ring, and it's none other than Logan Paul. Logan comes down to the ring, mocks Cena, says he's absolutely right that he should disappoint his fans once again and retire on his own terms before Logan has to humiliate him in front of the world and ruin his legacy forever. Logan goes as far as making a little Cena fan in the front row cry as he knocks off the fan's hat, takes off his never give up wristband, and hands him a Prime bottle instead. Cena then watches all of this in silence, but just as Logan re-enters the ring to continue his yap session, Cena strikes him down with one big AA and leaves him laying in the middle of the ring, giving his armband to the fan in the front row. As Raw returns from commercials, Cena is seen exiting the arena as an interviewer approaches him and asks, "What's next for John Cena?" To which Cena would respond with 2 words:
ruthless aggression.
Cena versus Logan Paul is set for Backlash, with Cena picking up the win after hitting the social media sensation with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 consecutive AAs, bringing back the intensity of the Chain Gang Soldier from 2005. The next night on Raw, Cena comes out to address the fans and is greeted by a thunderous ovation with dueling chants of "Let's go Cena" and "Cena sucks." But just as Cena is about to pick up the mic and address his future, the future makes itself clear to Cena on its own. Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker marches down to the ring and stands face to face with the leader of the C Nation as "holy shit" chants break out in the arena. Braun raises the IC title in Cena's face, almost daring him to go after the title that Cena has never won in his career. Now, Braun has been an unstoppable IC champion by this point. He's defeated Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser, Penta, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and nobody has been able to stop his wrath. So now it's up to Big Match John to stop this absolute monster and win the title that has eluded him his entire career. The match is booked for Money in the Bank 2025, and it is an absolute war. Cena and Braun Breaker go after each other with shoulder tackles, spears, AAs, STFs, and the crowd is loving it. There is not a single down moment in this entire battle, and the fight eventually spills to the stage. Towards the end of the match, Cena is about to AA Braun off the stage, but Braun Breaker fights back and spears Cena, sending both him and Cena through the Tron as the match ends in a no contest with doctors and EMTs checking up on both men. The match goes down as an instant classic, and fans obviously want a rematch. Raw GM Adam Pearce books the rematch for SummerSlam in a last man standing match, which is even more intense than their match at Money in the Bank. chairs, steel steps, kendo sticks, AA through the table, spear through the barricade, AA from the top rope, spear through the announce table. Nothing is able to keep these two animals down. In the end, Super Cena AA's Braun from like a high surface through a table to be the last man standing and finally become the Intercontinental Champion for the first time in his career, as Braun Breaker is carried out on a stretcher to a standing ovation from the fans. The next night on Raw, Cena comes out and announces the John Cena IC title open challenge, similar to what he did with the US title back in 2015. The challenge is accepted by none other than the debuting Trick Williams. Trick and Cena go back and forth for 20 minutes in the main event of Raw, with Cena retaining the gold while solidifying Trick as a mainstay on the Raw roster. Over the next few weeks, the John Cena IC title run continues as Cena picks up wins over names like Carmelo Hayes, Oba Femi, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. And at Bash in Berlin, Cena faces his biggest obstacle on his IC title run so far in the form of Ilya Dragunov. The crowd is split, with both men leaving it all in the ring and outside the ring as the veteran Cena struggles to keep up with the intensity of Dragunov. Ilya decimates Cena, targeting his ribs, his shoulders, and dissecting Cena's entire body like a mad surgeon. Towards the end of the match, Dragunov's intensity leads to his downfall as he crashes and burns and lands on his head while trying to hit Cena with a diving headbutt. Cena takes advantage, hits 3 consecutive AAs on Dragunov to retain the gold in his toughest defense yet. Cena's celebration, however, is short-lived as Braun Breaker, who has not been seen since SummerSlam, makes his return and lays Cena out with a spear, making it clear that he wants his title back. At Bad Blood 2025, Braun reclaims his IC title as the wounds of war finally catch up to Cena. After the match, Cena raises Braun's hand and gives his seal of approval to the future star. Now, Cena is not seen for the entire next month, and fans are left speculating if Bad Blood was the end of John Cena's farewell tour. Cena's next appearance is announced for Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, where Cena will address his future. Throughout the night, there are various backstage segments where Cena is seen talking to stars of the present like Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, LA Knight, and other stars he faced during the IC title run. Right before Cena makes his entrance to address the fans, Cena walks into Braun Breaker in the gorilla position, who has a stare down with Cena before nodding at the C Nation leader. Cena makes his way out to the ring and is greeted by an electric Saudi audience who are excited to see Cena one final time. Cena soaks in the atmosphere and starts recapping his run from the Royal Rumble all the way to Crown Jewel, and Cena says that when he started this farewell tour, he wasn't sure if he still had it in him, he wasn't sure if he was ready. He had heard the ramblings on the internet, but Cena didn't believe that he had one last run at the top in him. But after facing some of the best this generation has to offer and gaining their nod of approval, Cena says he's ready for the big gold, he's ready for number 17, and it's time for him to be able to say it out loud one last time that the champ is here. The next night on Raw, WWE officials Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis announced a blockbuster trade between Raw and SmackDown. The tribal chief Roman Reigns, who is feuding with the heel Seth Rollins at this point, is headed to Monday nights to settle the score, while John Cena will be going to SmackDown to hunt his 17th world title. Cena makes his triumphant return to Friday Night SmackDown, and the crowd erupts with dueling chants of "Let's go Cena," but before Cena can even get a word out, he is interrupted by someone who he is very, very familiar with. All of a sudden, we hear voices as Randy Orton, fresh off of his WWE Championship victory over Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, makes his way to the ring with the gold draped over his shoulder. Orton's feud against Rhodes was one based on mutual respect, as neither man took any shortcuts and decided to settle the score in a trilogy that lasted over 2 months, with Orton getting a clean win over Rhodes at Crown Jewel and becoming world champion for the 15th time. The crowd is electric as Cena and Orton come face to face once again after ages. The nostalgia hits hard as Orton raises the title and says that Cena is looking for number 17. Maybe it's time that they settle this once and for all. Both men show respect towards one another for the wars they fought throughout the years, with Orton extending his hand to Cena, who shakes it, but just as Cena turns around to address the crowd, the Viper shows his true colors and strikes with an RKO out of nowhere. But Orton is not done yet. The crowd is stunned into silence as Orton stalks Cena and hits him with a devastating punt kick to the skull, turning the clock all the way back to 2009. EMTs rush to the ring as Cena is stretched out of the arena, while Orton stands tall, claiming that that's the end of John Cena. The next week on SmackDown, Orton comes out to a chorus of boos and claims that he's sick and tired of John Cena stealing a spotlight for the last 20 years. Even at Crown Jewel, when it was supposed to be Orton's moment of glory after defeating Cody Rhodes, all anyone could talk about was Cena's stupid farewell tour and his pursuit of number 17. Last week was supposed to be Orton's crowning moment, but once again, Cena had to make it all about himself. But now with Cena gone forever, nobody can stop Orton from taking his rightful place at the top of the mountain. Orton's reign of terror takes over SmackDown as he recruits Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa as his henchmen who have just turned their backs on Solo Sikoa at Crown Jewel. I know, kinda sounds ridiculous, but we're having fun here. Over the next month, Orton and his crew run rampant over the entire SmackDown roster, and nobody is safe as they take out everyone from Cody Rhodes to AJ Styles to CM Punk. On SmackDown, 2 weeks before War Games, Orton and his crew crash a number one contenders match between Cody, Punk, and AJ Styles and start destroying everything in sight. All three, Cody, Punk, and Styles, try to fight back against Orton and his henchmen, but they're quickly overwhelmed by the numbers game. And just when all hope seems lost, an ambulance siren starts blaring throughout the arena. The camera cuts backstage and the crowd loses their minds as John Cena emerges from the back of the ambulance and charges straight for Orton. All hell breaks loose as Cena, Punk, Styles, and Rhodes stand side by side going after Orton and his ex-Bloodline henchmen, and the two sides are brawling all over the arena when Nick Aldis makes it official. At War Games, it's going to be Team Orton versus Team Cena, and the War Games match is absolute chaos with chairs, trash cans, barbed wire tables, thumbtacks, you name it. They got everything in here. You've got AJ Styles moonsaulting off the cage, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes going to town over the Tongans with kendo sticks, and Super Cena stepping foot inside War Games for the first time ever. Towards the end of the match, Orton realizes his team is about to lose and abandons ship, leaving Jacob Fatu to eat an AA through the table. The crowd erupts in cheers as the dream team of Punk, Rhodes, Styles, and Cena celebrates in the ring, but everyone knows that the story ain't over between the Viper and John Cena. This all leads to one final clash at Saturday night's main event, with Orton defending the gold against Cena in a title versus career match. It's at the end of a 20-year-long rivalry and the entire world is watching. During the build-up to the match, you see the Tongans and Fatu grow more and more hostile towards both Cena and Orton, attacking referees, timekeepers, even the announcers. Leading into the match, you've got interviews with legends from the past and stars from the new era picking their winner, and the locker room is pretty much split 50-50. The fans are split, and then the big night arrives. WWE in classic WWE fashion has the most cinematic video package for the match, replaying all the big moments from Cena and Orton's 2-decade-long feud going all the way back to 2006. You see flashbacks from their iconic I Quit match to their Iron Man match to Orton punting Cena's dad in the skull, and speaking of Cena's dad, you've got the man himself sitting front row eager to watch his son win the big number 17. The arena is packed, and then the music hits. In an entrance similar to his iconic WrestleMania 25 entrance, Cena walks out to the stage with an army of John Cena clones on both sides of the ramp. Cena runs down the ramp, looks around the arena, and gets ready for perhaps not only the biggest, but potentially the last match of his career. The match starts off slow with Orton controlling the pace, but Big Match John isn't going down without a fight. Towards the end of the match, all hell breaks loose, similar to WrestleMania 40 as Cody, Punk, and Styles run interference, keeping Orton's goons at bay, while Cena and Orton go to war inside the ring. After kickouts from RKOs, AAs, and everything in between, Cena finally connects with one final AA from the top rope to get the win and finally capture his historic 17th World Championship. The thing is, the celebration is cut short as Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa jump Cena from behind. The crowd erupts in boos as Orton slowly makes it back to his feet on the outside, still feeling the effects of that final AA. The Viper locks eyes with Cena, who's getting destroyed by Orton's henchmen in the ring, and the crowd starts a thunderous RKO chant, almost begging Orton to make the save, but the Viper just stands there watching the carnage unfold. Fatu hits a massive Samoan drop as the Tongans keep working over Cena with brutal stomps and kicks. The crowd's RKO chants get even louder as Orton slowly starts making his way up the ramp, choosing to walk away instead of helping his longtime rival. The beatdown continues for what feels like an eternity until finally Orton stops dead in his tracks. The Viper looks back at the ring one more time as the crowd erupts. Orton sprints back to the ring and starts cleaning house. Clothesline to Tama, power slam to Loa, and a massive RKO to Jacob Fatu. The crowd is going absolutely bonkers as Orton helps Cena back to his feet. Both men look at each other, neither saying a word until Orton finally extends his hand. The arena holds its breath as Cena looks at Orton's hand, then at the crowd, and then back at Orton before finally accepting the handshake. The two most decorated superstars of their generation stand tall in the middle of the ring as the crowd gives them a thunderous standing ovation. 20 years of rivalry, respect, and hatred all coming to an end in one perfect moment that nobody in attendance will ever forget. Cena raises the title in the middle of the ring as he's showered with confetti, pyro is going off, and the C Nation is delighted to see its leader capture number 17, cementing his legacy as the GOAT. The following week on SmackDown, Cena comes out one last time and says that while winning number 17 was his dream, he knows he won't be able to defend this title going forward. With a heavy heart, Cena announces that he's vacating the championship, and a fatal four-way match between Cody, Punk, Styles, and Orton at the Royal Rumble will determine the new champion. As Cena places the title in the middle of the ring and prepares to say goodbye, the entire SmackDown roster comes out on stage, led by none other than Randy Orton himself. With tears in his eyes, Big Match John looks around the arena, picks up the mic, thanks the WWE Universe for being his home for the last 2 decades, and says those 4 magic words that changed the WWE forever one final time.
The champ is here!
Cena's music hits as the roster applauds and the crowd chants "Thank you, Cena," while the leader of the C Nation makes his way up the ramp. Cena is shaking hands with fans, greeting the wrestlers, and sharing hugs with some of his biggest rivals, from Punk to Styles to Orton, ending a 2-decade-long career of the man, the myth, the legend, John Cena. But picture this, what if instead of Cena vacating the title, as he is speaking and making a speech about winning the world title, a bunch of hooded men randomly attack him on that first SmackDown of him being as champion, and then all of a sudden, Dominik Mysterio's music hits as Mr. Money in the Bank runs down the ramp, hits a 619, and pins Cena 1-2-3, becoming the new WWE champion. Imagine the heat that the guy would get and how it would solidify his legacy in the WWE as one of the biggest heels for years or potentially even a decade or two to come, spoiling the farewell tour of one of the biggest names in WWE history. But hey, that's just me. Maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself, but let me know what you think John Cena's final opponent should be. Do you think we'll see Cena win the big number 17? Or what about Cena winning the IC title? Do you think both can happen in this farewell tour? I'm not sure, but I threw both in there just in case. Anyways, thank you for watching and subscribe if you enjoyed.